Okay. Welcome back to the motherfucking Patreon. You guys, this bear is there for friends, and it smells like culo. I don't know what they're doing with this fucking bear, but it smells a little funky. I don't know why the fuck I have it on me.
Ew, we need a girl. We need a girl bear in here.
Oh my god, let's go to
Build-A-Bear. We should get the guys to Build-A-Bear.
I don't know.
Yeah, we have to. I'm gonna get the guys. But
I'm
I
just
love
playing.
Build-A-Bear.
Why do you want to build them? Like, with an outfit and stuff?
Yeah.
That'd be cute. It'd
Yeah.
be cute if they had like customizable like shirts, so we could put like the logo on there.
Oh my gosh, that would be so
Yeah.
cute. Maybe we
Maybe
could find someone with a creek cut or
on
something.
Etsy. Oh wait, I have a Cricut.
Really?
My sister does, but she doesn't use it, so I consider it mine.
Yeah, we could just buy like a little white bear t-shirt
Shirt.
and then put it in. Oh my god, that would be so cute.
That would be cute. Oh my god, let's do it.
Let's do it.
I want to go to Build-A-Bear though.
I love Build-A-Bear.
And get it, but I still want to buy like a little jean jacket, some
Yeah,
shoes.
some sick little sunnies.
Mhm. Let's go after let's go after we film. I'm bored.
How have you guys been, besties? Sorry we've been not here.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna drop some tea because you guys have been here and I think
Y'all
you
deserve it.
Yeah. I'm single now. Don't tell no one. Don't tell no one! But I am. I know some people have been asking, but
People have been asking you?
People have been asking me.
Who?
And people like comment, like they'll be like, Steph's not wearing her ring.
Shut
Steph
the
hasn't
fuck-
worn her ring.
On YouTube?
Yeah, but Saul
Deletes the
he
comments?
deletes them for me. Mhm.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Y'all really do pay attention to detail.
to details.
That's crazy because I don't.
Yeah, like people have been like, oh, like Steph doesn't talk about her husband anymore. Like
No
every
way.
single time he's like, cause at first I saw it and I asked him to delete it and he had already told me like, okay, I'm gonna delete them. Like, don't worry. And then sometimes like when he misses them, like I would tell him and he'd be like, dude, like there's so many I delete you don't even see. And I'm like, thank God, like I love. That's what I'm saying. Like that was so nice.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but.
They really be out here knowing.
Dude, for real. I don't want to really talk about it too much. I just want it to be like a known thing. I just feel like I've always been kind of private with my relationship anyways, but obviously it's obvious. You know, I took all the pictures off Instagram and I don't really post about them anymore. I dyed my hair the breakup color. Like, it's obvious, but I'm confirming it to you guys. So, that's some tea. Go tell your friends, but tell them to not ask any fucking questions because I'm not going to say anything.
And don't comment because we're going to delete it.
Yeah. Steph said on the Patreon she's single. Yeah, I only don't talk about it because, like, I just feel like it's going to start drama that I don't need. You know what I mean? Like, because, like, I don't know. I just feel like people twist things in their own, like, little ways.
And are you afraid of him seeing it?
Kind of.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm trying to do, like, no contact or whatever that... I
don't
would
wanna
hate
give
the,
him a-
hey, I saw you said this on, like, the podcast or whatever. But I do notice sometimes, like, I'll want to say something, like, in a single way. And I'm like, wait, like, not everybody knows.
That's crazy. But my wish was granted.
Vanessa manifested this.
I've been like sacrificing a goat every other week
Drinking the blood.
to end her relationship. And I finally did it.
I don't know. I think I didn't want to say it until I knew officially, like,
That
I'm
there was
done.
no return.
Yeah.
And guys, there's no return.
There's no return, guys, because I'm unloved.
What do you have
Me
to,
not wanting to talk about it, I'm like, yeah, they don't love.
What do you have to say to the people that might be thinking like, oh, but you guys just got married? Like, what the heck? I don't understand.
I think
Maybe
marriage,
for anyone thinking about getting married at a young age or anything like that.
I think, I don't know. I just feel like marriage is such a huge decision. And I knew it at the time. I just think sometimes people don't really realize what it entails.
Yeah.
And that it does change. Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, it doesn't really change, especially like if you've already been living together.
Yeah.
It does change. Like, it's hard to, I guess you can realize that there's things you need to step up to, but if your partner doesn't want to do that, and if you don't want to do it anymore either, there's really nothing to save. There's nothing to. So I think if you're going to get married and if you want to get married and if it's something that you've been thinking about, definitely realize that there are roles that you're going to have to step up to. And if you don't want to, then don't even bother.
Yeah. And honestly, even now, if you're in a relationship and your partner isn't stepping into certain roles already, don't think that by getting married, it's going to magically make them step into the role. Because if they're not doing it now, they're not going to do it later.
There's no reason to. Especially if you're not putting those, I guess, standards that you want. Like, people don't just change. Like, you have to ask for what you want.
And if you've asked more than 3 times, you've literally already asked too many times. And, like, that's it. Don't think that constantly asking someone is gonna make them do it.
And then the madder you get, like, I feel like that's a lot of mentality that I noticed that my friends have, like, that the madder they get, they think that their man's gonna be like,
oh, they're mad,
oh my god, they're really mad, like, let me actually
and it's
like, no, because it creates like a habit of, well, she's not that mad yet, she's like, oh, she's okay, like, if it really bothered her, like, that's how she was last time. Like, I think it creates a habit of, you're not going to get what you want until you get to that point of anger every time. And it's unhealthy. It's unhealthy to want to be in a relationship where you have to beg for something very simple.
Yeah. And also think about how that dynamic is being played. Like, if you feel like you're like that, someone has to get really angry in order for something to happen. It almost kind of feels like when you're a kid and your parents telling you to do something and you don't do it until they're about to, like, fuck you up with the chancla or with the cinto. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that kind of scenario, and it kind of feels ugly because you're a grown person now and you deserve a lot of good stuff. But you have to believe in, you have to be willing to let go of what's not serving you. And if you've constantly been asking someone to do something for you, don't feel like you have to get angry or think that your anger is going to get them to do that for you, because it's not. If they haven't done it out of the goodness of their heart yet, it's not going to happen, and it's sad. But you have to believe that you're deserving of those things and let go of that relationship if it's not serving you.
Yeah, and it's really difficult. I think what was most difficult is that when you feel like you deserve better and you want better, everyone's going to tell you don't. Like, I would...
Or, like, work it out. Or, like, why?
Like, they're going to hear all your struggles. They're going to see you crying. And then they're going to say, but you don't think you can work it out? Yeah. Like, maybe there's something you can do. And it's like, of course, there's always something you can do. There's always a way to fix it. But it definitely has to come from both sides.
Yeah.
I feel like that was my biggest struggle of, like, ending my relationship, where I was like, dude, I haven't even been married, like, for, like, more than a year. Like, this is embarrassing. Yeah. What's everybody going to say? What's everybody going to think?
But also, too, like... I hate that narrative, like, oh, like, it's, like, the whole time construct that people put on it, like, oh, my God, because why waste more time?
Right.
Like, why would you want to waste more time in a relationship? Like, you don't need to put up with it for 50 years to realize that you gave the best years of your life away and that you can't get them back.
Yes.
Like, no. And, guys, keep in mind, Steph has been with Alex for years. They just haven't been married for one. This has been a long
it's a long relationship. It wasn't just like, oh, I was married for a year and like it didn't work out. Like, no, like, I've been with this person since I was 19.
Exactly. And marriage is one of those things, like you said, you don't know about it until you're in it. And, you know, and I'm just happy that you put yourself first. You did the hard choice, and I'm really sorry your heart's hurting, but I also know that in the long run, this is going to be the best decision in time. You're going to look back.
And I'm not like, I'm not close. Like, sometimes I'm like, oh, you know, maybe in the future we'll find each other again. Like, that's okay. I'm not, like, closed off to anything. I just think that I had to do what was best for me right now. Yeah. And it wasn't, like, anything crazy or toxic. Like, Alex is an incredible person, and I absolutely love him to death. I'm still in love with him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, like, something that just switches off or goes away. I just think that there's so many other things going on in my life that was one thing that I knew I had control of, and I knew it wasn't doing me well. And I mean, it was in a sense almost mutual, but it was like, it's not an easy decision to make. Like, ending a relationship, ending any relationship is really, really difficult. Yeah. Getting to that point is really, really hard. Yeah. But if you feel like it's something that you need to do, there's no reason for you to be struggling more than you need to. Yeah. But
no, and I really, really put my hat down to you, because I feel like, sad to say, but most women would have stayed there. You know, especially because, like you said, it's been less than a year. I feel like a lot of women have this mentality, like, let me tough it out another year. Or 2 more years.
Because it's literally just like society, like, what are they going to say?
The pressure, yes. Because it's like, oh my God, we just had a whole wedding, or we just went to the court. You know, you think about all of these things that you did, and it's like, fuck the past. Fuck the past. Like, literally, it's gone. What do you want for your life moving forward?
Yeah.
And it's like, I wish people could think about that more. And I just really, put my hat down to you for, like I said, making the hard choice. I'm proud of you. I love you.
Love you.
Alex is dummy. Not just like
no, it's because you do think back, like, you're like, wait, like, when was it, like, when it was good, like, it was really good, like, maybe it can come back to that, maybe it can't, like, I don't know, maybe I should just tough it out.
Yeah.
But ultimately, only
yes, that part too.
I definitely think, like, I always tell my friends, break up with your boyfriend. But only because sometimes you need to hear it. I'm not saying you're going to listen to me. Yeah. I just think that sometimes there has to be a person that says, this is, you can do that. You can leave. An option. Yeah, it's an option.
Yeah.
But getting to that decision is hard. But I don't know. I think honestly, thankfully, I just stopped giving a fuck about everybody and what they had to say to me and about me.
Yeah.
You take it?
No.
That was when I was like, okay, cool. Like, I can handle, because nobody matters. Yeah. It's literally, I think I saw a TikTok where it's like, oh, the world doesn't revolve around you. Like, it's literally
your world.
My life. Like, my world 100% revolves around me.
Yes.
So why the fuck wouldn't I do what's best for me?
Yeah.
And I think my mental health was what was just most important to me at the time.
Yeah. And still is, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. That's some tea, you guys. That's
some really hot piping tea.
Yeah, that's some really exclusive shit because I barely started telling my family.
Damn, yeah.
And a lot of them will ask me like, oh, where's Alex? And I'm like, oh, he's at work.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's just weird. Like, when I tell someone, they're like, oh my God, I didn't know. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to make like an announcement about it.
And also too, like, some family members you just don't know have the best intentions for you. Like, they don't have like I'm not saying yours, but I just feel like when I think about 100%. Some family, like, there's always some family that, like, I'm not going to tell you. Like, you're not someone that I would want to tell this thing that's happening in my life. Because one, I know you're not going to have something nice to say. Two, you're probably going to go tell everyone and say negative things.
And like, three, you probably already know you're just being a chismoso.
Yeah, so it's like, no, not everyone deserves to know what's going on in your life, especially like some family members. Like,
yeah. But I don't know, guys. If you have 2 brothers, send them my way.
Yeah, about that, how do you feel about dating?
No.
Yes, no?
No.
Maybe so.
So maybe, like, probably definitely not, like, soon, but I feel like I'm swearing off love forever. Era. Yeah, like, I'm in my era where I'm like, fuck that. I don't want any man around me looking at me like, if you're not just, no, like, I hate men right now so bad.
Yeah.
I despise men so bad right now.
As it should be. I'm just playing.
I think everyone goes through that
little healing. Yeah, I just need to.
Yeah.
And I think it's good, though, because I feel like, sadly, some women just jump into the next relationship without truly processing the old one, not just to heal, like, the pain, but also to really take into account what patterns do I not want to repeat. You know, what are my values now in a relationship? What is going to be my standard? What am I not going to put up with anymore? I feel like women don't really take that time to introspect. And I know it's not because, and I feel like it's sad because I think that society and just these generations have failed us, you know what I mean? Because we're not taught these things, we're just taught to find love and, find your happy ending, and you got to put up with bullshit, and that's just how things are. And, you know what I mean? Like, men cheat, and, or like men beat you up, and that's just, like things like that it's just like, no. And it's just like, just put up with it, or he's a good guy though, think about, you know what I mean? Like, it's like these narratives, and it's like, no. And it breaks my heart that a lot of women, it's like, it's unfair, and I don't blame them. I wish more women were open to, learning. I feel like, especially in this era with the internet and all of these things, the tools are there, And
I feel like, I just think that personally, I wouldn't know how to be with someone without thinking, if I'm still in love,
with someone else,
personally, I just cannot open up like that to anybody else.
I agree.
I don't know how people do that. I don't know how people just jump in and then they're like, oh, but I still miss my ex. Like, how do you lay in bed with this person then? Like, how do you open your heart to two people. I personally just can't.
I think some people don't actually open their hearts. I think they pretend. I think some people could, but I think some people just genuinely like are pretending,
which is sad. And I know there's like also like I know I'm not like I wasn't perfect 100%. I had maybe like it was just an equal parts kind of thing. Like I know I have so much things that I would hate to bring that onto someone else right now. Like I don't want to.
And that also takes a lot of like balls to admit to yourself that you had your own shit too that was also not working, making the relationship work.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's really big because our egos don't ever want to make ourselves the problem. Our egos are always going to externalize blame to other people. And just for you to be able to say, okay, I know there was stuff in me that wasn't going to help this relationship flourish, it's better to just not have it right now. And like you said, maybe in the future, but right now what's best for me is to not be in this relationship. And same thing, you like, not just for me, but for Alex as well, I feel like is a huge thing. A lot of people cannot do that. A lot of people, I feel like, end their relationships and they're just like, it's all his fault, you know, like, and have like these narratives. And it's not only gonna be hurtful to them, but you're hurting yourself because you're not gonna grow that way.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're gonna whatever you were bringing to this relationship, you're gonna bring it into the next one. You're gonna repeat
it exactly, and that's why it's tough. But stay safe out there.
Yeah, but there's a very famous quote that's I don't know who says it, but de amor nadie se muere.
True, nadie.
So I'm okay. I am very heartbroken. I'm very sad. But I'm dealing with it. I feel like I've always handled heartbreaks pretty well anyways.
Yeah.
Like I would see my friends and they would get like really depressed or like they would like not get out of bed. I don't think that's ever been me. But I don't know if I'm just like a high active depressed person. Yeah. Like I'm in bed and I'm like, this is boring. I need to get out.
That's good.
Yeah, but I'm chilling right now. I think I'm cool with the way I'm living. I think I'm okay.
Yeah.
Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Have you ever had trouble sleeping at night and then the next day you feel sluggish, you feel exhausted, you might even feel a little depressed? Do you ever find that just as you're trying to fall asleep, your brain suddenly won't stop talking? Do your thoughts start racing right before bed or at other inopportune moments? Sometimes that happens to me during the show. If I'm not getting enough sleep, my thoughts are just in shambles and I can't even make one single sentence make sense. It turns out one great way to make those racing thoughts go away is to talk them through. Therapy gives you a place to do that so you can get out of your negative thought cycles and find some mental and emotional peace. I know I have never been to therapy, but I know so many people that have benefit from it. Vanessa has shared her stories on this show, and it is truly, truly amazing what working on yourself can do for you. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It is entirely online and it is designated that way to your convenience so it can be flexible with you and suit your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Visit betterhelp.com/IE and Besties today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/IE and Besties. And we now return to your regular scheduled program.
Good. Dude, the other day I went to, because my little sister is living with her boyfriend right now. Mm-hmm. It's temporary. Mm-hmm. But she's staying with him for a bit, and he lives, like, in a ghetto part of San Bernardino. Mm-hmm. And, dude, literally, like, when I went to go pick her up the other day, there's literally prostitutes, like, all down that street. And it's so sad because, like, a lot of these girls look young. Like, they look, like, late 20s, you know, even early 20s. And they're literally walking the street with thongs, like bras, like practically naked, in heels, broad daylight, just standing in the corner, like, and it's so sad, bro. Like, it's just, it makes me sad. Like, I want to go up to them and give them a hug and be like, you don't have to do this. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, but it makes me think about, like, even if I did go up to these women and even maybe offered them a way out, it's all they know. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes I think about how people can, like it's like when someone's telling you their problems and you're the outsider, you can see the way out. But someone that's been in it for years and that's just is surrounded by it every day, it doesn't feel like there's a way out. You don't think they have it in them to find a way out. And that breaks my heart when I saw these girls, because you know me, I feel like I was imagining them as like little kids, like little girls, and like I wonder how were they treated, you know, were they abused?
Yeah,
and it's just like
sometimes it's not even their
heart.
fault. Like I saw an interview where this girl was talking about how she had a really good life and her dad wasn't in her life. I think her mom had passed. And then finally, like up like 14, her dad was like, hey, like I'm back, like I want you in my life. Took her to live with her in Vegas. Dad started smoking crack, forced her to smoke crack.
Oh no.
Started selling her to get drugs.
No.
They sent her back with her grandma, who she was living with. But now when she was back with her grandma,
she was addicted to crack.
She was already addicted to crack, and her aunt, who was also living with her grandma, was also doing crack. So she, like, there's just so many. That's why I have such a soft spot for homeless people, because there's so many endless stories as to how you end up there. Like
way.
Even drug addicts, like you don't always end up a drug addict just because you decide to try drugs. Like there's hundreds of reasons why you can get into it.
Dude, yeah. I heard this story of this girl who like broke her leg doing some kind of competitive sport, and she got addicted to the opiates that the hospital gave her, and fucked up her whole life like that. And it's really, really sad because same, like I was watching this video the other day that talked about like how to solve homelessness, and the guy was talking about how as long as we don't address like the root cause of homelessness, like nothing's gonna be done. Like you can create all the housing you want, you know, all the funding you want for homelessness, but as long as we don't address like what makes like the mental health behind why people end up on the streets, or even start trying to work to creating stronger family units that are not going to repeat like the mistakes, you know, homelessness is always going to exist.
Yeah.
Like if parents can't make ends meet, they're going to be stressed out, making them to do more dumb things, neglect their children, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Or like just all these, like you said, there's so many ways that don't necessarily involve just being a bad person and wanting to do drugs, you end up on the street. And it's like, I think of, and I was listening to this guy's videos, and I feel like he was making some really good points about like why people do, like you said, end up on the street. But it almost sounds kind of like a utopic society that's never going to exist, you know? Like the government, I feel like, is never going to fund projects where it's going to help people like for real actually like get like create stronger family units, because they know that if that happens, people are going to be better mentally, not going to depend on the government as much. You know,
100%.
Like probably the pharmaceutical companies that create medicines and things we're not going to need them as much, or all these things, like they would fall apart. They would dismantle if
100%.
family units were strong, you know, and not just strong physically, but like mentally and like united, you know? Like that's why there's so much division too between races and everything, because the more we fight with each other, the more they can have control. We avoid
the real problem.
Exactly, and they can have control over us more that way. You know, just
like
use
think
us
of
for
how many
slavery.
medicine there is out there. Yes. And we have more sick people than we ever have in the entire history of the fucking world.
Yeah.
Like all of that, or even like I saw another interview. I love watching those interviews of people that go and like interview people on the street.
Yeah.
Not all the time, because some of them are very exploitive.
Yeah.
Which I don't like, but some of them, like I saw one where they were asking like, oh, like why do you do drugs? And the person literally said, they're like, if you're cold on the street, the only thing that's going to warm you up is drugs. If you're hungry, the only thing that's going to make you not think about food is drugs. Like sometimes like people out of desperation will, like your body's always going to want to survive no matter what. Yes. And if you're on the brink of fucking starvation or freezing, and this one thing can solve that for you, like of course your brain is going to be like, just do it. Like what other choice do you have right now?
Yeah, that's kind of like when you guys were talking about the iPad kid conversations, like I'm an iPad kid and whatnot. I didn't mention it, but I was thinking about this interview that I saw about this teacher, and she was complaining about how kids are out of control in the classroom. How she had to completely remove, like I guess they had iPads in the classroom because they had like activities on the iPads to do sometimes, but that she had to remove it because kids were having a hard time transitioning from like the iPad games to back to like regular class. Like they'd throw fits and cuss and like have huge meltdowns, and then like completely would check out after they were giving an iPad. And the teacher was like saying how parents were like bad for just being lazy and just giving their kids an iPad and not being like more intentional with their kids' time and stuff. But then another person did that video, and she was saying how the root cause of parents giving their children iPad is because they literally do not know how to connect with their children. They're overworked. All they're thinking about is making ends meet, working. When they get home, they literally all they want to do is just fucking be on the phone themselves, watch TV, fucking have sex, do drugs, like, you know, just do all these things because they are so disconnected from themselves that they literally do not know how to connect with the child, especially with the child who has needs 24/7, gotta be fed, gotta be clothed, gotta be played with, gotta be literally like stimulated mentally, and like the million things that children require that are not talked about. People just pop kids out because they think that's the next thing to do, that's gonna bring happiness, that's gonna the next step in life. But in reality, it's so much work. And when you're actually like not well mentally, and you think you might be, but when you actually have children, it actually shows you how really unwell you are. 100%. And a lot of people don't know how to deal with that, so they literally all they can do is just give their children an iPad to distract them, a TV to distract them, because they don't know how to deal with their children. And that is the bigger problem that is not being addressed. Like, why are people criticizing parents for giving their children iPad? We should really be talking about what's going on internally with that mother, that she feels like she's incapable of connecting with her children. Like, what is going on? And I struggled with that too. Like, I always said I was gonna be a parent. Like, I'm never gonna give Ezra an iPad. I used to say that even before I even got pregnant, before, when I was just a young adult and living my life, and I would look at people parent and I'd be like, oh my god, even the iPad, like, I would judge because I thought that I knew better, and I thought I knew what it would be like to be a parent. And it's until you are a parent and you see how exhausting it is, and you realize that, damn, like, you, like, literally one of the things that I've struggled with the most is actually playing with Ezra. Like, getting into play is so hard for me. Like,
it's cringy.
It's literally like boring as hell, you know. Like, I literally don't want to fucking play with you. Like, I literally don't want to do that. Like,
I'm an adult. Like, I don't have to do this.
Like, I want to just lay here and watch TV all day. Like, I don't want to fucking play with you. Like, I literally, like, this is like the most, you know. And then you get into your brain and you're just like, that you make it worse on yourself by thinking even more negative things about it. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, like, I wish I could smoke weed again. Because when I used to smoke weed, dude, I would go smoke, take a couple hits. Obviously not too much because I had to watch my son. But I would literally smoke.
To just calm you down.
And it calmed my mind. It would take off all the negative thoughts. Girl, I would be able to tirarme en el piso and play for hours with Ezra. And literally, like, it was actually more enjoyable that way because I didn't have all the stress and the negativity.
But see, like, look at, like, even as someone who's, like, not homeless, who's not, like, whatever, you're like, okay, I need some drug. Something. Not even a drug. I need something
like,
to
that's
help
gonna
me.
help me. Exactly. And it's like, a lot of parents are against, you know, there's such a negative connotation around weed. And I understand why sometimes, but then I also wish people didn't villainize it so much. Because imagine if some of these parents did use weed, they'd be more chill.
It's just about moderation. Like,
exactly.
You don't have
it would
to
be about
go
moderation.
Because sometimes I smoke and I don't get high. Like, if I'm having a panic attack and I'm smoking, all it's gonna do is ease my panic. I'm not gonna get super blown. I could if I continue to smoke all day. But that's not what's going to happen with me. Like, I'm just going to calm down and then I'm like, okay, you know what? Like, this is okay.
But imagine the parents out there that don't have anything. Yeah. They're overworked, stressed, worried. And not just because of work, but maybe relationship problems. Maybe they struggle with, like, anxiety or maybe eating disorders.
And not even that. Like, they have all that stress and then they want to find an outlet and everyone's like, well, you're not dedicating time to your children now. Like,
exactly. Yeah. And it's like, dude. And then it's also because kids could be punks. You know what I mean? Kids are selfish. They're incredibly selfish. And look, and this is one thing I heard about parenting. One of the big lessons that parenting teaches you is how to be selfless. One of the big things that the world lacks is community and love and acts of service. You know, when people say, like, the world doesn't revolve around you, I think what people mean is that we need to learn to coexist with others. And yes, like, put yourself first and fill your cup, but fill your cup so that you can be of service to others in a loving way, in like a community, like a communal way, where everyone's interconnected and you can give good so you can get good. You know what I mean? Because we need human beings. And if you're not at your best, you're not going to be able to give good, you know? And literally, that's what the guy was saying, that when you have children, it is the epitome of selflessness. It teaches you to, in a way, become a servant to another person. You are practically a servant to your children, but you have to do it in a loving way because they're your children. They came out of you. You birthed them, and naturally, if you're a good parent, you're gonna love your children. And Vanessa said to love your child and be of service to them, and that teaches you to come back to that primal like way of being of service to others. Back in the day, we used to all live in villages. Everyone raised the children together, you know, everyone gardened together and helped build each other's homes and traded things and lived in harmony. That is the way we're supposed to be, but we've lost that through this new societal way of being.
like, oh, es tu pedo. You
Exactly, that's your problem. Exactly, and that's not what it's supposed to be. And I feel like that's what children are. They teach you that, to be selfless in a loving way. But because we're not used to being that way, it's so fucking hard. We have like so much trauma and we have so much resentment and anger in some of those areas. It's like, I don't want to fucking do that. Like when your parents force you to do shit, it makes you not want to do it, right? That's how I feel growing up. And I feel that coming up for me when I'm like relaxing and Ezra comes up to me and wants like tugging at me to play or tugging at me to make him something. And I'm like, ugh, I don't want to fucking do it. And I can't tell him that. He can't go in there and cook himself something. I have to do it. You know what I mean? And it's coming back to that awareness of I have to reframe the way I'm looking at this. Like, yes, I know I have my shit going on, but one, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna make my son his meal. But when I come back, instead of watching TV and distracting myself, I really need to think about how I need to fill my cup, so that next day when he wants to be fed, I can be good for him, because I need to be good for him. I need to fill my cup. And a lot of parents don't have that mentality of filling their cup, and they don't know how.
And then they resent the kids because they're like, you don't understand that I'm working so hard.
And and it's like, and we can't even blame parents that are unaware, because it's like, they don't know, they don't have that awareness. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like the way of being, you know? And it's tough because sadly, kids are defenseless, and they get all the shitty end of the stick. You know what I mean? I think back on, literally, you said it too, our moms would literally fuck us up if we laughed too hard. Like, can you believe that? Can you believe, like, laughter annoying you? Like, how stressed and shitty of a mood and shitty you have to be for laughter to irritate you.
And even like yesterday when we were out at the bar, like I could see people turning and I'm like, you're just mad because you're not laughing,
you're
like
not
this.
Having a good time. Exactly. And we were laughing, having the best, and I felt the energy. I wasn't looking back. I did not look one person in the face for me to know that energetically people were looking at us some type of way because we were laughing too loud.
Especially, this is what I noticed, because the girls next to us, before we got there, they were laughing very loudly. Like, they were having a great time. As soon as we sat next to them, I'm no joking, like, we were cracking the fuck up the whole time. They were Shut the silent. Fuck up. Yeah. And I'm like, why can't you enjoy your time
Just start
and
laughing.
Also accept that someone else, even if we are having more fun, you're still having fun because you were already laughing. Like, keep laughing. Why does our laughter bother you? I always thought that. Like, why is my mom mad that I'm happy right now?
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
And it's tough because sometimes I'm pretty sure they themselves don't even understand why it bothers them so much. Yeah. They just feel some kind of way physically, and because they feel that feeling, it prompts them to react that way. They don't have the awareness to, like, wait, before I react, let me think about why I feel this way right now. What is triggering about my daughter laughing right now? They don't have that awareness, you know? They just react, and that's how everyone is living. They feel some kind of way, and they react to it, and they feel justified. But just because you feel something doesn't mean you're right. It doesn't mean that that's the proper response to what's happening in the moment. Yeah. And I think that's why whenever people have children, like, I have to accept that we live in a human world where sadly there's duality, there's good and bad. And in order for there to be bad things have to happen. Yeah. And I can't save all the children in the world. As much as I love children and wish that I could save all the children in the world from all the shit, they need to go through that so they can grow from it and learn and be the people that they're going to be. Yeah. Some people are going to learn and grow from it and be amazing people. Sadly, some people are going to succumb to it and be shitty people, and that's just what this human experience is. And I try to remind myself, like, all I have control over is how I show up in the world. My child, how do I want my child to grow up in the world? And I've been trying to even reframe that. I've been learning that my job is not to make Ezra act a certain way and have him be a certain way. It's for me to let him be who he is, because he's already his own person.
Exactly.
I just have to guide him, show him like, okay, maybe this is not the way you like maybe like sometimes he'll call me a bitch, and it's like I have to refrain from socking him in the face. You know, it's like I have to show him that it's okay to express your anger, because I know you're angry, and I know you learned the word bitch from your dad playing Fortnite, and he says bitch all the time on it, and I know you don't mean it in that way. I know you're just frustrated.
Yeah, you're just
but
repeating.
let's keep the anger, because that's healthy, but let's reframe how you're gonna express your anger.
Yes.
And you know, and that's what I'm trying to tell myself, like, because sometimes Ezra will do things in public that I'm embarrassed about, and I'll give myself the moment of embarrassment, but I have to calm down and really be like, okay, what I'm not gonna do is take Ezra to the bathroom at the grocery store right now and beat his ass the way my mom used to do to me. What I'm gonna do,
oh my God,
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have to take action. But like, another thing that I've learned is that parents love to discipline their children in front of others because they feel like they have to. But in reality, that's not going to teach them anything. You just embarrass the fuck out of them. It's going to be counterproductive. You'll gain more if you wait till you're alone with them and have that conversation with them. And consequences that actually fit what's going on.
Right.
Like if Ezra did something like that at the grocery store, a proper consequence would be like, you know what, Ezra, like, that really hurt my feelings that you just said that to me right now. I understand you're frustrated, but you know what?
Like as a consequence to that,
like
I
as
need
a
to know
consequence,
that this is what's
like
gonna
this
happen
is
now.
like a consequence that correlates. Like, you know what? Like, I really, because I don't know what the fuck I would do. Maybe I would make him put the candy back that I was about to buy him. Like something that correlates with that, or maybe I don't even know if that would correlate. But I think like something that wouldn't correlate is like no fucking iPad for a week. What the fuck does the iPad have to do with
The
that?
word you
It's
just
just
said,
adding to the
right.
fire, you know, because
No.
it's not really, the iPad has nothing to do. Like, he did this at the store. Okay, like maybe a better example would be if he threw a tantrum and he started throwing candies everywhere on the floor. Then maybe a proper consequence. You know what? I was gonna buy you one, but let's just put them back. You're obviously having a hard time. Like, we're not buying a candy right now. We'll try again next week when we come.
Yeah, or even like the consequence is just not succumbing to like, you're gonna have your tantrum and that's okay, but I don't have to acknowledge it because you need to learn that this is not okay, and you know, like kind of like a self-soothing kind of thing. Like, calm yourself. And or like, I'm gonna, like, I can't help you right now. Like, this is just how you're crying right now. And we're gonna, once we go outside and we can address it.
Yeah. And that's a big one too that I've been learning. Sometimes when Ezra, in the beginning, when he was younger and he would throw tantrums, I would visibly get upset. Like, my energy around him throwing that tantrum was chaotic as well. I would try to hold it, but by my facial expressions, grunting, like, ugh, you know, little things like that, Ezra was picking up that I wouldn't do that, but you know, I wanted to beat him up, you know.
No, not even like hit him, just more like, no estés llorando, ya.
See, that energy is like not helping, because we forget that children don't have the vocabulary to express themselves, and not even just the vocabulary, but developmentally, their brain is just their frontal, whatever the fuck it's called, the cortex, that part that helps you control yourself literally doesn't even exist for children yet, and we forget that. And I wish parents knew that. That literally they need that part of their brain to control themselves and regulate, and it doesn't exist yet. So how do we expect them to regulate? So what I learned is that parents, the way that children do it, you have to regulate with them. That's why walking away, and that's why when I mean, if you really have to, like, if the two options are either I walk away or if I stay here I'm gonna beat his ass, obviously walk away. You know what I mean? That's a given. That's why they say that children like need to co-sleep like with you, because they regulate their sleeping cycle through you. Literally, it's a fact. Like, the way you regulate your sleep, that's how children regulate their sleep and stuff like that. So kind of like that same dynamic. When I had to learn to when I felt triggered when Ezra was throwing a tantrum, I had to kind of breathe, you know, like breathe and show Ezra I was regulating in that moment with him. And dude, it's hard, don't get me wrong, and I still fuck up. Don't think that I do it right all the times, but I literally have to regulate, and I have to tell Ezra, all I'll say is, I understand you're angry right now, go ahead, you're valid, be angry, let it out. If he wants to hit me, I'll hold his hands in place, and I'll have to tell him, look, I understand if you're mad, but you're not gonna hit me, you're not gonna hurt me. And I will tell him, I love you, I'm not mad at you, I love you, and I want you to know that. And dude, I swear to you, Steph, it's so beautiful when he finally calms down. He will literally come to me and cuddle me, and he'll be like, "Mommy, I love you."
That's my
like
niece.
He'll be like, "I love you." Like, "I'm sorry, mommy." Like, you know, and that is so beautiful to know that I'm changing the narrative.
100%.
And it's so beautiful, dude. Like,
because right now that you're saying that, like, obviously my niece it's different because she's my goddaughter, so I feel like I have some responsibility in like molding her a little bit.
Literally, like,
and she does that. Like, my niece, I think, has a lot of anxiety, and she's only like 2 years old. She's about to be 3, but I can see it because she gets angry. She doesn't cry. She doesn't scream. She just starts to like shake. And she starts swinging on me.
Yeah.
And I, like you said, like, I have to hold her, and I'll be like, "Mommy, like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, ¿qué tienes? Dime qué tienes." Like, I'll just like sit and talk to her. Eventually, she'll start to cry.
Yeah.
But she cries really silently. Like, she doesn't like scream. She'll just start crying. And like you said, like, I'll just hold her, and at some point she takes a breath, and she's just calm now. And I'm like, okay, like,
and that's you.
Bien?
And that's you co-regulating with her.
Yeah.
And one thing that I think you should tell your niece when she is frustrated, don't tell her it's okay. I know we're used to saying it's okay when we're going through hard things.
Yeah.
But they don't feel okay. So
I don't say it when she's like swinging it. It's just more of like when she starts, like when she's angry, I'm like kind of like you said, like I'll tell her like, it's okay that you're angry. Don't hit me.
Yeah, because that's literally what I used to do. Like when Ezra would be mad or sad, I'd be like, it's okay, it's okay. Like I would tell him that all the time. But then I saw this video that explained it's because I watch a lot of like development, and the guy was saying how they know what it's okay means. That's like one of the phrases they learned as they're growing. It's like one of the easiest one for them to grasp as a child. But when they're in a high state of like reaction, like, you know, they're triggered and stuff, they know they're not okay. So they're looking to you to help regulate with them. And when you're telling them it's okay while they don't feel okay, that makes them feel like something is not right within them.
You've said that before.
Yeah. So literally, like, I was like, okay, damn, like, that's a really good tip for me because it's a habit. And it slips out sometimes. Where I'm like, it's okay, it's okay. It's hard to not say it's okay because we want them to feel okay. But you know it's not going to be that way. So I just try to say, like, let it out. I'll say let it out, or I can see you're angry. Like I try to put a label on what they're feeling, so they when they hear it, they know, okay, this is what's going on. Like, I'm angry or I'm frustrated. Like sometimes Ezra will get mad because I don't like he'll be calling me to do something, like I'm cooking, and he'll want me to leave the kitchen to play. So I have to tell him, like, give me a second. Like, I even try to say not a second because he thinks, okay, a second pass. Like, literally, they're so literal.
I have to say, that's so funny.
I have to say, like, give me 5 minutes, you know, so he could kind of comprehend it's gonna take a while. And sometimes if I'm not like moving fast enough for him, he'll come in, like, he'll thump into the kitchen. He'll be like, I'm frustrated with you, mommy. Like, he'll say that to me, and it's just like crazy, like, you know, like, that he's learning, you know, and it makes me feel so proud as a parent that he's like able to do that.
Right.
And that I feel safe to say those things to me. You know what I mean? Like, I think back as a child, and I would never dream of telling my dad, like, you know, like verbalizing, or my mom, how I felt, because it was immediately a slap in the face. Or if it wasn't slap in the face, it was a complete denial of my reality. Yes, a complete denial. And that was so fucking shitty to experience. A complete denial of how you're feeling is so shitty. Like, so fucking shitty, because you feel so alone. And I think that's what starts the dependency on toxic relationships, because not only one are you learning to have your feelings invalidated by the main people that are supposed to love you, but you learn to look for that elsewhere.
Right.
And if you're not getting a healthy sense of that at home, you're going to end up in shitty relationships with shitty people that are also going to invalidate you, and that's going to feel comfortable to you because that's all you know.
Exactly. And I like that you said that that's what's going to feel comfortable to you, because then when someone comes and tells you, hey, you don't deserve that, they're like,
you're like, oh, maybe I do.
That's out of your comfort zone.
That's why low-key, I'm going to tell you this right now on the Patreon. When you say things like, when you talk about your childhood and you say things like, I deserve that, I was like a shithead, it makes me so mad when you say things like that. Because you didn't. If you were acting like a shithead, is because you were always invalidated. Yeah. So it made you act out. Yeah. And maybe you wanted attention, maybe you wanted love, you wanted connection, and you learned that the only way to get to feel seen and to actually have your parents. Have you ever noticed that me personally, my mom, I always felt like she never saw me. But every time I did something bad, she would glare at me. Like, I felt like she would glare into my soul. Even if I was shitting bricks because I felt like she was angry at me. It was only the few times that I felt like she actually saw me, you know, like she actually gave me attention. Like it wasn't good attention, you know, but it was attention. And children learn that very on, that if they don't get a healthy sense of attention and love and validation, they learn that they'll get it through negative actions, and that's why the kids act out.
Yeah, you know what's so funny that you say that? That I always felt the opposite.
Really?
Like, when I would get in trouble, my mom would be like, yo te conozco mejor que nadie. And I would always be like, I don't think you do.
No.
Like, I really don't think you do, because if you did, you would know that I did not do this to hurt you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm literally and even now, my mom still does that now. And I'm like, no, like, I am not doing this for you. I'm not living my life for you. Like, I'm literally living it for me. So if I made this mistake, it's because of me and because I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's why I tried to be my authentic self always my whole life, because I was like, this is who I am. Like, you're not going to tell me who I am.
Yeah.
And it's really hard when, like, my mom still does it. Like, she'll be like, es que yo te conozco todo. I mean, she always tell me, a mí nada se me pasa, yo ya todo te lo sé. And in my head, I'm like, no, you're very strict. I learned very well to hide everything.
Dude, and honestly, it's incredibly frustrating too when they say shit like that, and it's like, you think you do. Like, you really don't.
And I wish you did. That's what I always think. Yeah. I wish you did. Yeah. I wish you knew everything about me, because I love you more than I love anybody.
Yeah. That's such a hard, like, dynamic. When you love them, it's like a toxic relationship. Yeah. You know, you love them so hard, and it's people that you can't cut off. You know what I mean? Like, they're your fucking parents. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. But it's one of the most difficult relationships ever, because they don't understand you, and they take everything so personal, and they make it about themselves, and they externalize blame, and they can never introspect, and they can never see their problem in the situation.
Yeah. And if you tell them, it's like, okay, but look at what I was going through at the time.
Or you're attacking me, or okay,
I acted like that though because of this and this and this. And it's like, no. Right, so then why would I act like this too?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So literally, girl, it is. So yeah, please stop saying that, because I'm gonna slap you.
And I know, which is so funny, because thinking like that is what led me to the absolute most toxic relationship I have ever had in my life.
Like, I was a shithead. No, you didn't. Dude, you did not deserve that. Like,
I'm barely starting to come into that of, good. I don't deserve shitty things just because.
You don't. And forgive that version of yourself that put yourself through that believed that she deserved those things. You know, it's also, I feel like, important to acknowledge that we are creating our reality. Like, we're the creators of what the fuck we go through, you know, whether we're conscious to it or unconscious to it, we create that shit. And it's a hard pill to swallow when you start realizing things and you think back and you're like, damn, like, I really did put myself through that. Like, I didn't have to, and I did. And I did, and it got me here, and now I'm dealing with all this shit. But you know what? Like, it's fine. Yeah. Now I know better. I'm gonna do better, but I'm gonna forgive myself.
And I do like, I feel like I've learned to love that person who accepted all that a little bit more, because I'm like, I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have allowed myself to be in that position, but I don't think I'd be able to go through what I'm going through now had I not gone through that. I think this would have hit me so much harder if I wouldn't have put myself in a position where I was completely degraded in every, like, literally every form.
And that's growth right there. And I heard that one time, that when you're able to say that about a situation, like, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be here right now where I am today. I wouldn't have learned those things. That's growth. When you look back on things and you still have that, I shouldn't have done that, beating yourself up, guilt, shame, you haven't grown from that. You haven't learned the lesson, because every bad thing has a lesson, and you need to be able to. Yeah, life's hard.
Or even it doesn't always have to be a lesson. I think sometimes it just toughens you up.
Yeah, well, life is hard. Yeah. We're gonna keep going through shittier fucking things, and I truly do believe that. I think everything does have a lesson. Everything. I think you can learn something from everything. It's up to you if you're gonna learn it or not. Yeah, you know what I mean. But I genuinely think that, because I feel like as we get older, I feel like we don't know what's coming for us, and life is never gonna be a piece of cake. I mean, I think there's ups and downs, you know, and and I feel like we're going to be better equipped when we think about a hardship as yeah, it's fucking, it hurts. Yeah. I really wish I didn't have to. I mean, who wants to be going through shitty things, you know? But to know that when you come out on the other side, you're going to take something from it, and you're going to maybe look back and be even grateful that you went through it. It might help just like alleviate a tiny bit of what's going on, you know? And I think that's growth.
You know what I hate? When I like our Patreon more than I like our episodes.
You know what? We're going to leave this on. It's going to be for next week episodes.
I just like love it. Like, I feel like, oh my God, like our conversations just get better and better sometimes.
I know. I genuinely think like life. We have good ones and bad ones. They can't be good all the time. No, otherwise, we're not going to be able to appreciate the good ones.
Exactly. But I think that's a good place to
we can wrap it up, you guys.
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for still being such like fans. Thank you for still being here on this Patreon. I hope you guys realize that I feel like in this Patreon, we always drop some shit that like is so personal that I appreciate that you guys keep it like almost like our little secret. Yeah. Or not a secret, but just like
it feels intimate. It feels nice.
It feels super intimate. I think that's why sometimes like we'll record and then we'll be like, you have to record a Patreon, but it doesn't feel genuine. So it's like I don't want to be chaotic. I don't mind talking about like sexual things and whatever. But I like when our Patreons are very personal.
And that's growth there, too.
Oh, my God. We're killing it today.
Love it. It's all about growth.
Oh, my gosh. But if you guys like this episode, go ahead and share it and tell people to subscribe.
Yes, please.
We are trying really hard. We are mentally trying to get really into this podcast and trying to make it grow. And we literally just had the conversation. We want to start really, really, really. We've said it a bunch of times. I know you guys are frustrated with us, but we're trying really hard. And I think now we're finally making that connection where we're so invested in this that we want to make it as great as possible. So I genuinely mean it. Please leave your comments, concerns, like anything you guys want to see from us, anything you guys want to hear from us. Like we want to give all of that to you. We want to be so open with you guys.
And I do also think that an important part of us being very open and honest with you guys is, you know, we're people, you guys. Like, we're real life people. You know, I feel like sometimes when you watch someone on camera, it's easy to kind of have expectations for them. And also to us as people who are putting out content, we also kind of fall to that of having expectations for ourselves, and we beat ourselves up when we don't meet those expectations. But we just want to be like real and raw with you guys about not just putting on good content, but also being honest about where we're at in life, because I don't, like Steph said, it feels shitty putting content out just because we feel like we have to do it. It's not enjoyable for us, and I know that it translates in the camera. Maybe we can hide it better, but we know that it's not genuine content. And if we haven't put out other content that we said we have, it really just hasn't felt like a good time. We wanted to do that for you guys. We wanted to give you guys content, but ultimately Steph and I, just things have been happening, whether in her life or my life, that we're just not been able to be on the same page, and we've just been going through shit, and literally it just didn't feel like it would be genuine. And we just feel like that's unfair, especially for you guys that are paying for this content. The last thing we want to do is fucking put bullshit out for you guys. Like, we really don't want to do that. I feel like we respect you guys, and we would want to put stuff out that we're proud of and that you guys can feel proud of, and you guys feel happy that you guys are paying money for. You know, I don't want you guys to watch something and be like, this is what the fuck I'm paying for. You know what I mean? I feel like that's disrespectful personally, because it's your hard-earned money. So I want to appreciate every one of you guys for still supporting, for still literally like helping us do this. Like, it's really like, it means a lot to me. It means a lot to Steph, and I genuinely think that it just makes us feel so loved, and I really appreciate it. So
thank you, Bestie, so much. We will catch you guys in the next Patreon. We love you.
Yes.
Love you.